Welcome to Backstage with Geoffrey Morrissey. I'm your host, Geoffrey Morrissey, and tonight we are backstage at the Paradise in Boston, having the pleasure to talk with two members of the great band Walk Off the Earth, Gianni and Joel. They are performing a sold-out show tonight, and guys, thanks so much for having us.
Thanks, man.
So I did want to talk for a quick minute. You guys sort of got your start with covers. What drew you as a band to covers originally?
Well, we actually started playing originals and doing the traditional band things. We had a couple albums before we ever even started doing covers, but we just enjoyed, singing awesome songs and putting our own takes on it. So that's what we did.
Now, did you look for anything in a certain song when you were deciding to cover it? Anything that sort of jumped out at you?
Just basically, if we thought we can change it up and make it our own, and it was a good song. Those are the two criteria that we, looked for. Some songs are already awesome, and we don't think we can make them better. Some songs we think we can make better, so we do that.
That's a very good way of thinking of it. So you guys are expected to release your new album, Sing It All Away, later this year. Everyone's really looking forward to it. What can your fans expect from the new work?
They can expect some giant-ass songs.
Awesome.
Not giant-ass songs.
No.
Two very different things. Giant-ass songs. Giant-ass songs.
Big grammar saves lives.
There we go. Yeah, just big. Tons of gang vocals and tons of. The record's called "Sing It All Away," and it's kind of a call to sing it all away with us and jump in and have a listen and get inspired. And a lot of the songs just kind of bleed energy and really. It's. I want to say the Spinal Tap thing about they're anthemic. They may not be anthems, but they are anthems. But they're also anthemic. And they're all hooks everywhere. So many hooks every couple seconds. There's hooks everywhere, and it's. I think people are gonna give it one listen and be hooked and have too much information in their head because they're not gonna know what to sing first in their head, and their brain may explode.
It's good.
Yeah,
there are worse problems to have. So what was sort of the hardest part of making the new album?
Obviously it takes a ton of time. Like, we've been in the studio for close to 10 months, maybe longer now. So it's just, keeping your sanity when you're in a room for 17 hours a day.
Wow.
And, it's just, all of it's hard. Making records is hard. It's hard work. There's so many things involved. There's the writing process, the recording process, mixing, like the album artwork. There's just so many things. So it's just very hard.
Because, I was going to say, I think a lot of people who aren't in the music industry just sort of think, albums, someone goes in and plays for a few hours and they have an album. Is there anything that people might be shocked to hear about recording an album? Sort of the two.
Well, it's not 1970s anymore, so I don't know too many bands that just go in and record live off the floor. That's a cool thing in and of itself, but that's not what we like to do, because we like to really push the boundaries of what can be done. So we're producers and we're songwriters, and we want to go in there and experiment and do crazy shit that isn't necessarily possible if you just put four people in a room with four instruments. We want to make things that are going to last forever and be these crazy pieces of art. So yeah, it's like I said, it's not like the old days anymore. People have stepped it up, and if you want to compete nowadays, you gotta go crazy in the studio. You gotta do some cool shit. You gotta make it different and make it your own.
I couldn't agree more. And then sort of one of the ways that you stand out is with the singles that you picked. Sing It All Away, the title track and single. Home Will Go and Rule the World are the other three. Other two. How did you guys end up arriving at what songs to choose as singles?
We wrote 30 songs for this record, or for this album, and we recorded about 15, and it's just about what's the best songs. I don't know, we loved all of them, but it's just a matter of what are people. We're a band for the people. We're not doing this to massage our own musical egos. We're trying to make the songs that everyone in the entire world are gonna fucking love. And so we sat there and we listened to these 30 songs we wrote, and we picked the ones that we felt the world's going to love the most.
That's really cool. 30 songs is a lot. Do you think we'll see any of those songs on a future album?
I think so, because they didn't get axed because they weren't strong. They just, they just didn't feel right for this album. So there's definitely some of those songs that will be released in the future for sure.
Awesome. And then, so what would be a big difference between Sing It All Away and R.E.V.O as albums?
I think like what G was saying about kind of having more time in the studio to explore sounds and that it's R.E.V.O came from more of a, to contrast, and it's still not the 70s, but R.E.V.O did come from more of a live band focus, whereas the time was there this time around to really sit down and explore and pick things apart and get into a lot of layering with sounds and kind of create new sounds by combining other sounds or searching for stuff like that. R.E.V.O was done pretty quickly, and this one had a lot more time. So I would say this record is more dense, but that not to scare away people who might think that it's overproduced in certain ways. I think it's still definitely coming from an organic place. Regardless of if there's some synth lines in there or not, there's still ways to do that's still coming from a very natural place. There's a lot of folk acts or acts like that are using those sounds these days just to compete and just to stay relevant, and that's one way to do it. But it's you can also just kind of go with the flow and experiment naturally and have stuff kind of come together in a more organic way. So I think that's what people are gonna get from this. That it's more time it's more articulate. Mm-hmm. Let's say that. Let's just leave it at that. It's more articulate and it's more dense.
It's a good way to sum it up, definitely. And then, so this is a new question I'm going to try out. If you could pick one song, it does not matter with the time period, who sang it, and claim it as your own, what song would that be for you?
Any song by Queen.
That is an excellent choice.
Yeah, they're the greatest band of all time for sure, and their songs are just insane. They're all good, every one of them. So, yeah.
I was going to say Queen, but because Johnny said Queen, I'm going to go with Right There by Chingy. It's a banger. Check it out. Absolute banger.
And it does sound, I mean...
That might be better. Yeah.
The title has me already. And then are there any we're all about new music, are there any bands that have your ear right now?
Scotty Hellman is actually playing behind us right now. He's an incredible act. You guys are going to love his album. Who else? Joel?
Gosh. Specifically bands?
Bands or artists, either or.
Artists too. Yeah, man. Who to pick for that? I feel like we should give some Columbia love. Well, there's that new dude Omi on Columbia. He's got a great song out. He's cool. He's kind of cool, cheerleader. I'm trying to think of more bands too. Let's stick with Scott. Yeah, let's give Scott all the love there.
Sounds good to me. Well, I want to thank you both so much for your time, and I hope that you have a great show and a great album run.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.